Diddy turned down plea deal ahead of trafficking trial. Diddy's team also argues that he lived a swinger lifestyle. I'm going to get into that in a second because now they got a whole new defense for him. And I'm going to tell you guys why in a second. Says, according to TMZ, the Bad Boy founder appeared in court for a hearing yesterday. At one point in the hearing, prosecutors revealed that he was offered a plea deal. The prosecutors came to court and said, we offered him a deal, and he turned it down. Further details on the exact specifics of the deal, how many years or whatever it was. I'm sure it was double digits, 15, 25. I think they gave R. Kelly, 30? I'm sure it was somewhere around there. They gave R. Kelly 30. They probably give Diddy about 20 to 32. Which at 50-something years old, it feels like it's an automatic no. But, and I don't know why they would turn down the deal because, I don't know, man. Maybe his situation is not like that, but typically all deals are negotiable. Even in this type of situation. It's like, look, man, we ain't going to give you, 30, but he'll do 16. He'll give you 15 and sign right now. I got a homie, A1, that when he was going to trial, me and A1 was locked up together. A1, this is when I was young. So keep in mind, this is, but A1 ended up going back to jail 3 months after he came home. I came home before him. We was kids. Not kids. We was men. We was 18. He was like A1 23 at the time. Good friend of mine. He go back and he had a murder case. It's a Watson murder. Like he had, it wasn't that he intentionally killed nobody, but somebody died in a circumstance that, it turned out that's how they charged him. So I told him, he called me, bro, they offering me 15. I said, take it. I know, bro. I've been locked up. So when I say it, I'm not saying it from no public defender perspective. But bro, you'll be home. You 23, 15, you'll do 12, you'll be home. I get it. I know it's a long stretch, but you'll be home. Sometimes when you hear that at that age, 50-something years old, you hear 15, 20 years, 30 years, they be like, hell, man, never. But it might be his best situation because his legal team don't seem prepared at all. And I want to get into that, man. So they said that, his plea deal, the specifics of it might come out after trial. I don't know the validity of that. They might, just put it out there to just be like, yo, we offered him 20. Now he didn't take it. So we're giving him 300. So, we'll get to that in a second. I just want to show you guys the stupidity. I just don't know what his lawyers are doing, man. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what his lawyer's doing. All this is just crazy to me. Hit that like button if you guys just coming in. All my entrepreneurs that's listening, you guys know we do these things from the business perspective. We're going to get to all that in a second. So here's the new defense that his lawyers are trying to argue. They're trying to argue that he had a swinger lifestyle, and that's not a crime. And I get the defense, but I don't understand why they keep changing his defenses. Where it's like, oh, they doing this because he black. That didn't work. Oh, they doing this because it's not true. None of it is true. Well, we got 4 victims that's about to come testify and say it is true. And that is the case. They got 4 victims. 4 victims. 3 of them worked for Diddy. 1 is Cassie. 1 of them worked for Diddy for 3 years. And then 2 of them worked for Diddy for over a decade. That's what was reported. So all 4 of those people are coming to get on the stand and say, yes, he did it. That's why it's a dumb mistake to go to trial if you had an opportunity to take a deal, even if it's a bad deal. Because you go to trial, they're going to max you out. So now they're arguing that he has this swinger lifestyle and that's not a crime. And the reason that let me read this real quick. Lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs appear to have offered a preview of his legal defense in his trafficking case, arguing that the rapper led a lifestyle of a swinger and was not a criminal. This is almost like admitting to guilt. Like, yeah, he was doing some wild stuff. He was doing some, like, I don't know. At a hearing in New York on Friday, a little more than a week before his trial, his attorneys told the court that the rap mogul thought it was appropriate to have multiple sex partners, including workers, prostitutes, because it is, quote, common. Why would your lawyer say that? That's like me. This is why I said earlier on in the stream. That's like me going to court for a robbery when I was young and saying, well, robberies are normal in the hood, sir. What? That's not going to get you out of jail. That's not a defense. That's like, buddy, I told y'all the story about going to jail and said, well, shootouts are normal in the hood, sir. It's coming. To who? You talking to a jury of everyday Americans. So at the hearing Friday, let me read this to you guys one more time so the gravity of the ignorance. I was told by a judge, ignorance of the law is no excuse of it, for breaking it. This is what Diddy's lawyer said at a hearing on New York on Friday. And this is, mind you, a little more than a week before his trial, the article says. The article says his attorneys told the court that the rap mogul thought it was, quote, appropriate to have multiple sex partners, including the sex workers, because it is, quote, common. How stupid of a defense is that? I'm sorry, man. Federal prosecutors also revealed to the court on Friday that they offered Mr. Combs a plea deal, which he rejected. Told you guys that. The trial begins on May 5th. And obviously the charges against him include racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. So they just admitted that he did have prostitution and he did think it was okay. If convicted, he faces life in prison. Here's a quote from Diddy's lawyer. There's a lifestyle. This is the quote. Quote, there is a lifestyle, call it swingers or whatever you will, that he thought was appropriate because it was common. Many people think it would be appropriate because it's common. That's Diddy's lawyer saying that. The lead lawyer on the case. During the hearing, Diddy, who's now 55 years old, was seen solemnly listening to the proceedings and whisperings and passing notes to his lawyers. He smiled to one of his sons, who was present in a wood panel courtroom. It also emerged that Mr. Combs rejected the plea deal. They keep reiterating that because they want us to know that when he get maxed out, we tried to give him a deal. The judge ruled that the team is entitled to cite his lifestyle in their defense arguments, but they cannot cite other examples of prominent swingers or anyone who is alleged to have hired sex workers. The judge telling them right now, bro, that defense is trash. The judge telling you the defense is trash. He said, y'all entitled to use that as a defense. This is what the article says. The judge says that the article says the judge told Diddy's team that you guys are entitled to cite his lifestyle in your defense arguments, but you cannot cite any other examples of prominent swingers or anyone who is alleged to have hired sex workers. Basically, you can't bring up nobody else. Don't come in here trying to say, oh, well, this person did, Hugh Hefner did it. That's what he's telling them. Don't try to do that. Keep it. You can say whatever you want about him. Don't try to bring no other celebrities into this. So they're not even letting him really talk about snitch on nobody else. Because the judge is saying, really, I'm not going to allow you to make that like it's normal. You can pretend like it's normal, but I'm not going to allow you to make it like it's normal. So don't even bring nobody else up. Just talk about him. It's an L, bro. That's an L. So here's another piece of this case that has been going on in the same time frame. And before I even get to this part, let me explain why they're changing his defense so much. Diddy's lawyers are changing his defense repeatedly because you got somebody getting on stand saying you did it. So now the consent thing goes out the window. The black thing was never going to work. I don't know why black people think America run on their emotions. Our emotions don't run America. This is a business thing that we have a problem with too. We think all things. I just told you guys when we was talking about the Shannon Sharpe thing, the days leading up to his resignation or firing or whatever. 2 days before that, I was on the live stream telling y'all, man, look, America don't care who you stand with. These corporations care about their shareholders and they care about and I teach you guys all the time, all my entrepreneurs that I coach on here, all my clients. I teach you guys all the time. Brand is about the what? Associations and disassociations that somebody draws when they hear your name. And in that same thing with the Shannon Sharpe case, they don't want the association of that. It don't matter how we feel. We the only ones think we can get away with that. So that was one of Diddy's defenses that, oh, I'm black and that's why they're doing it to me. That could be true and it still don't matter. Look at what happened to Shador Sanders. I don't know if that's true in skin color with him, but it don't matter. I'm saying in general, it doesn't matter what's true. It just matters what happens. Oh, behind the scenes, this is what it is. So what? It still got to be dealt with. So 50 made a funny joke too. 50 was like, Diddy in jail, like, they treat me like I'm black. So that was his first defense. Then the second defense was, oh, everything was consensual. Well, now you got 4 victims getting on the stand saying that, no, it wasn't consensual. And yes, he did it. He did it to me, Your Honor. Do you see the person in the courtroom that made you do these things? Him. And then you got the guy over there, Diddy over there, saying that, no, it was consensual. Well, the victims are, anytime the victims are willing to get on the stand and say you did it, you're going to take an L. We saw that with Tory Lanez. I said it with Tory Lanez. He could be, I don't think Tory Lanez is guilty, personally. I don't know, but I don't think he is. But anytime a victim get on the stand and say you the one that did it to me, it's going to be hard to convince a jury otherwise, because now I got to prove that the victim is a liar. They're on the stand. So that was the second defense, consent. Now that it comes out that, these people that were around Diddy for a long, long time, Cassie, 2 victims that worked for him for over 10 years and one that worked for him for 3 years, they're all testifying. You can't use the consent thing no more. So you got to go into, well, it was a swinger lifestyle. It was just the lifestyle. Like, as if the American public cares. He's trying to relate. It's like they're trying to win on relating to. You're not relating to the everyday person by doing that. They're disconnected. So these lawyers are just taking his money. Now, here's the other part of it. Diddy's prosecutors allege that he is, quote, desperate to exclude Cassie footage from the trial. So Diddy really wants the Cassie footage thrown out, where he's kicking her in the hotel and all and beating the crap out of her. And obviously for obvious reasons, he wants that removed from evidence. So here's what it says. It says Diddy's defense claimed that the alleged editing and media manipulation increased the footage risk to, quote, unfairly confuse and mislead the jury. Can't nobody be unfairly confused and misled by you kicking that woman in the face, bro, and throwing a vase at her and dragging her by her hair. I don't care what other clips exist. Those clips exist. And it's not even look, man, I believe wholeheartedly that God can redeem anybody, and that if you repent, God will forgive you. I wholeheartedly believe that. Doesn't excuse you or exclude you from consequence, though. I can repent in my heart, give it all to God and say, you know what, God, I'll never be that person again. But there's still consequences to our actions. And you still might have to do something. You got to own up to it. You got to deal with it here. So I just want to throw that out there. But, nobody's unfairly confused. They said the quote his lawyer said was, the jury might be unfairly confused and misled by that video. Stop it. Stop. Says, in the filing, prosecutors reportedly called the reasons overblown and labeled the defense and their move as a, quote, desperate ploy to downplay crushing evidence. The prosecution believes Diddy wants to hide this footage because it would expose viewers to some of his most damning evidence in his trafficking trial. So basically, they're going to combine that video with other videos. And I'm assuming that they're going to try to say, this is what happens when somebody tries to say no to Diddy. To make the victims on the stand go, well, why, when the defense, asks the victim, cross-examines them and says, well, why did you not just leave? Why didn't you just quit your job? I think the prosecution is going to use that Cassie footage to say, this is why. Because this is the kind of stuff that he did to the person that he was in love with. So imagine a person that he don't even give a crap about, a regular employee.